Hi, Mama Goals gang. I'm back again and I have a new recipe for you. I'm excited to try this one. This is my first time trying it, but I've made something similar many times. This is actually a recipe out of my little foodie book, which I've been bragging about. I have a full length book review about. Check it out. It's fun. But there is a vegan butternut squash mac and cheese recipe that I've been really wanting to try. And the recipe comes from this little foodie book. I'll flash the fun photo for you because these photos are really, truly amazing. And since it's vegan, we're not going to use cheese. So if your child is lactose intolerant, can't do cheese, here's an alternative. So this is actually a nice medium-sized butternut squash. And so we're going to be cooking this down in the oven. And this is going to be kind of like our sauce for our whole grain pasta. And these are elbow pasta shells, the little cute tiny ones, very toddler friendly, which I love. I have chicken stock. I have pre-cut onions. We're not crying this time. Okay, extra virgin olive oil, probably for cooking down our veggies. Minced garlic, pre-minced, which I love. And then salt, sea salt, and black pepper. So we have everything that we need. So let's get started and prep our squash. It's time to process this squash. Now we want to make sure our squash is nice and clean. So we have a beautiful, pristine surface to work with. There's no telling where it's been, probably in the ground or something, right? Yeah, so get the sticky ickies off. You want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees because that's what temperature you need this guy to be in there for 40 minutes. Also, it's a beautiful time to go ahead and start your roaring, boiling water to put our noodles in. And it looks like it's almost ready to go. So that's great. Great timing. Okay, so we want to cut this guy in half because recipe says we want to put the two halves skin side down on this baking sheet. And we need to use a sheet of parchment paper. So that's already ready to go. So let's try out the knife skills here. Okay, gotta be careful with these big knives and these big veggies. Okay, so that's one side. Try to follow that cut as best as I can. Oh my. Okay. Breathe. Listen, if anyone has pro tips on how to best cut a butternut squash, put it down in the chat. Matter of fact, while you're down in the chat, if you haven't subscribed to the Mommy Goals channel here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Bing! Go ahead and hit the bell and you'll be notified every time I drop a video. Thank you. Appreciate you watching. Back to the program. All right. Let's see. All right. I can do it. I can do it. All right. Look at that. That looks good. So we do have some seeds here. I'm just going to dust those out a little bit so I don't have to do it later. Man, this smells really, really good. Okay, that's one half. Look at that. Oh, the smell on this is amazing. Smells like it's nice and ripe. Ready to be a mac and cheese, a vegan mac and cheese, minus the cheese. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So this is our second half, skin side down. Now these go in the oven again for 400 degrees for 40 minutes. So I know that sounds like a long time, 40 minutes. Who has that, right? But this is how you probably need to do it to have the freshest possible outcome in your final dish is to get the freshest veg, right? And so that's why I'm putting in the time, because I have the time. But if you don't, do not fear. You can also purchase frozen or pre-cut up butternut squash in those little cubes. Sometimes they have them in the plastic containers right next to the cut up fruit. And you can start from there, and it doesn't take very long for you to process the butternut squash when it's given to you like that. Maybe a couple minutes to get it to where you need it, and then you can just, toss it up with your macaroni and get going. And it'll be a little bit quicker to get the end result. Okay, so now we're gonna jump into our pasta preparation. Okay, that's the brand. I'm sure you've seen it before. This is a whole grain elbows by Barilla, I believe is the brand name. And it cooks up in 6 to 7 minutes. So this should be pretty quick. I have my water, it's boiling, it's ready. So I'm gonna drop this whole thing in there. Looks like I have maybe a little less than half I've already used. So I'm gonna put about half. Don't forget to salt and drop a little oil in your pasta water. It helps. And I'm gonna set another alarm for 6 minutes so my pasta doesn't overcook. And the countdown begins. Now it's time to saute some onions. So we just need a little bit of our extra virgin olive oil. Ooh, pour it up. About a tablespoon. Let's do a little bit more. And then let that heat up. If anyone has tried this butternut squash vegan mac and cheese, let me know how you like it. Put it down in the chat. Do you prefer cheese or this vegan version? Just curious. I'm excited to see if my little guy enjoys it, but I think he will. Every recipe that I've made from the little foodie book has been a success. So now let's drop some onions. These are diced up onions. It calls for, these are diced up onions. The recipe calls for half an onion. So I'm just gonna take half of what's in here. I don't think we need a whole lot. And of course, this will need 3 to 5 minutes until onions become translucent. Let them do its thing. My onions are now nice and fragrant. They got a little color on them. So it's definitely time to add your minced garlic at this time and go for another 2 minutes. And then set this to the side. Okay, I just pulled the butternut squash out of the oven. It looks like it is ready for me to start scooping the meat out, right? So I have my sauteed onions. I have my chicken stock ready to go. And we also, since I don't have a food processor, we'll be processing our mac and cheese sauce in this NutriBullet baby. It works just as good. So now I'm gonna start and clear out the remaining seeds, which are really easy to pull out now. And I'm just gonna set this in my little discard bowl. And those pull out really easy. We do not want those seeds. Okay, let me turn this around. I can't wait to try this. I've never had a pasta sauce with butternut squash as the base. So this is gonna be a new one for me too. But I'm excited. Okay. So now you just want to scoop this meat out. Scoop your cooked. That's good. Just scoop your butternut squash out. It should pull out pretty nicely. And you definitely want to wait for this to cool. I think I let it cool for maybe 5 to 8 minutes or so before I start handling it. Don't want to burn yourself. Okay. And I probably don't need all of this for the 12 ounces of pasta that I'm using, but we'll see. I'll just add a little bit at a time, you know? Okay. All right. I think that's plenty to start with. Maybe one more scoop. I actually just realized I did not have any minced garlic. So I'm just gonna add my onions and maybe I'll throw a little garlic powder in there for that flavor. So let's do that. Okay. So here are my onions, nicely sauteed. I probably have a little bit less than half an onion worth, just because I'm trying to introduce new foods in a subtle way. And he hasn't had a lot of recipes and items with onions in them. So I don't want to blow out his palate or anything crazy, right? Now the recipe calls for veggie broth, but what I had on hand was chicken broth, and that will work just as good. It says I should throw in a cup, but I think I'm going to start with like half a cup and then blend and then add as I go. Because I don't want a super duper thin sauce. I want it to have a little bit of texture still. So here goes. Let's blend. Oh man, I'm so excited. Okay. There's something about the blender that gets me excited. I don't know. Ooh, this color is beautiful. Look at that. What a sauce, what a sauce. What a mighty good sauce. Okay, let's try it. Ooh. Mm. Hey, that's really good. All right, we're not done yet. So I think starting off with that munch stock was the right move. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of my pink Himalayan sea salt and just like maybe a tiny sprinkle, 2 tiny sprinkles of pepper, because this again is something my little guy hasn't had a whole lot of. Okay, so we're gonna blend this up again on high powered blending. Again, how cute is this? This is my NutriBullet baby. Trusty. I use it for a food processor. Works for me. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. All right. Give it another taste test. Hoo. Okay. It smoothed out a little bit. I think the onions helped it to do that. Mmm. Oh. It is so good. Man, those sauteed onions are an elevator. It literally took this thing to the next level. Oh man. I mean, this could be a butternut squash soup, like right here, right now. Talk about a slam dunk for the mommy and me recipes. Mommy can enjoy a butternut squash soup, and baby can have his vegan mac and cheese. How's that for the mommy and me? I love it. Okay, let me go grab some pasta. I'll put it in a little bowl and then we'll mix it up and then try it all together. Vegan butternut squash mac and cheese. Be audacious, set goals, out.